Did you get some from Nigeria?
Hi! And welcome to Ohima Speaks. Oh my gosh, we are live. Do you know what? The way I've been prepping this year, I'm even finding I'm too hot. Welcome, guys. This is my first live ever. Like, I didn't think, I just thought about a couple of days and thought, you know what? Let me do something different. Let me be live. And let's, like, change the game a bit. Sometimes you want to do something different, innit?
Yeah.
Do something different.
Follow.
Yeah. Jamaica's in the house.
I know Jamaica.
Jamaica. So, yeah. We're here. We're live. I've got a very special guest. Can you see how pretty she looks? Don't she look like... Hold on. Don't she look like Lavender from Matilda? I was just like, you look like somebody. She was just like, who? I was just like, look at the way your hair's all pretty and stuff. You look like Lavender. You know?
Thank you.
And she looks so cute, doesn't she? Anyway, furthermore ado, I am so honoured to have this young lady in my living room. Honestly, I really, really appreciate she came all the way from Birmingham, not Birmingham, Atlanta, so let's not get twisted. Birmingham, UK, and obviously I'm based in London, and she came all the way down, and I'm ever so grateful. Honestly, I feel so humbled because, you know, most people wouldn't even come in London. So to come from Birmingham and to say she will do this special interview with you guys live, you know, how many people do you know that would do live out of the people that have been on my channel? Not a lot of them, but this young lady said she's gonna go in live, and yeah.
It's my pleasure.
So without further more ado, we got Jenica.
Yes.
Right here.
Hi, people.
Are you excited?
I am. I feel a bit, you know, it's live and that, so.
She's live and that, so.
You know, excuse my Brummy accent. It comes out a little bit.
Brummy accent. Obviously, my accent's a London accent, and her one's a Brummy.
I try and do a London accent sometimes. Like I try and put it on.
I think you're trying a bit too hard.
Yeah, but they're basically, I'm from Birmingham, innit?
Yeah. we like the Birmingham massive. Salute.
You got my Birmingham.
I was actually there the other day for a lunch dinner.
Oh, was you?
Yeah, it was really powerful. It was really powerful. I actually jumped on a train from London, went to meet some
It's not that
powerful
far,
women.
is it?
It's not that bad, and it's only £5.50 each way, guys. So listen, go down to the bull ring, go and enjoy yourself, and then come back. How about that? So, Jenica is gonna explain who she is, and yeah. We'll take it from there. So, Jenica, take the platform.
So, my name is Jenica Leah. I'm from Birmingham. I have sickle cell anemia. So, I'm basically like a strong advocate for sickle cell. I blog about like my experiences and my journey that I've been through with sickle cell. I've written a children's book called My Friend Jen, which is all about what sickle cell is and how to stay well with sickle cell. Also, recently started a YouTube channel which I do with another friend of mine who also has sickle cell, basically just advocating for the cause, because you know this is one of those invisible conditions. I probably don't look sick, which people say that to me all the time, you don't look sick, but you know it's an invisible condition, and it's real, it's serious, it's one of the most common genetic disorders in the world, but not a lot of people know about it. So I'm trying to be the voice and encourage others to speak up as well, and you know, just more awareness.
Right. So that is what got me so interested in Jenica, because I'm not gonna lie and I'm not gonna sit here and obviously pretend I don't know hardly anything. I don't know anything about sickle cell. Like, I just know that the red blood cells look different to normal red blood cells, and that's it. And I just felt like I needed to know more about sickle cell. I kind of feel like, in a way, like I wouldn't say I feel stupid, because I would never ever say that about myself, but I feel like I don't know enough what's happening about sickle cell, and that's not good enough, personally, and it shouldn't ever be like that. So this is myself to educate myself, because at the end of the day in life, you never stop learning. So it's, a way to learn and so forth.
It's not even fit. I think sickle cell is one of them things where people know about it if they know somebody with it, or even so, people might know somebody that has it, but they don't. They know that they've got sickle cell. They still don't know what it is. It's one of them things where if it doesn't directly affect you, you probably wouldn't know, and that's kind of what I want to change. Like, it does affect a significant amount of black people, so we should know.
Yeah, we really should know. So, Jenica, how old are you?
I am 28.
She doesn't look 28 though. She looks like she's 12.
You
really look really young.
I know, I do get that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm 28. I'm a young lady now. My mum found out that I had sickle cell when I was 6 weeks old. So basically, you're born. It's a genetic condition, so you're born with it.
So who has sickle cell? Is it your mum?
So both my mum and my dad are carriers of the sickle cell gene. So you get like genes from each parent. So they're both carriers. They have what's called the sickle cell trait. And because they both have the trait, there was a 25% chance that they would have a child that would have the full-blown sickle cell disease. And here comes me.
So how many kids do your mum and dad have?
I've got an older brother. He's just got the trait as well. So I'm actually the only one in my family that has like full-blown sickle cell. That's like brothers and sisters and like cousins, auntie. I'm kind of the only one.
So when your mum found out, what age is it that she told you that you have sickle cell?
You know what? I can't remember a specific age. I just know, like, growing up, it was hard, it was annoying. Like, I knew I had this thing called sickle cell. There were certain things that I couldn't do. Like, I couldn't play outside if it was cold. I had to drink loads. I had to make sure I got a lot of rest. But I didn't really understand why. I just knew it was because of that sickle cell. Like, I'd get in, like, really bad pain sometimes, have to go to the hospital. But I didn't have that understanding. And that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to do my children's book as well. Because I think if I had a better understanding when I was that young, not that my life isn't great right now, but a lot of things probably didn't have to happen the way they did if I had a better understanding and could explain myself a little bit more to certain people as well.
And when you say, like, things I don't understand, and maybe some of our viewers don't understand, when you say you had to go outside and you couldn't go outside, you couldn't play, you had to keep warm. Now, sickle cell affects your red blood cells, right? Correct. And it doesn't form like the normal red blood cells in our bodies.
Yes.
So when you are somebody who's got sickle cell, is all your blood cells like that? Like a certain, a different shape and so forth? Or is it half of...
It's kind of half. Basically, our body... I also learned this when I was writing my book. So this is what I mean, like, at 27, I was still learning things about sickle cell that I didn't know. So originally, I used to think, all of my blood cells are like this shape. Yeah. It's not the case. So we do have normal red blood cells as well. But basically, what sickle cell does, it affects the protein called hemoglobin, which is in our red blood cells that carries the oxygen around our body. So sometimes our body will, especially when we get tired, get too cold, our body will overproduce sickle shaped cells. Because we need more oxygen and stuff. So that's where we get the sickle shaped cells. When there's too much of those, they're really sticky, they clump together, whereas normal red blood cells are really squidgy and juicy and they flow nicely, but sickle cells kind of tend to stick and clump, and then when they do, they block, like, vessels, so your veins and stuff, and then it cuts off the oxygen that goes to that part of your body, and effectively it's very painful.
Right. So in terms of when like you sickle cell, like now, when I was in secondary school, there was a girl that was in my sister's year who had sickle cell, but we didn't know. She had yellow eyes. Yeah, now looking at you now, when you came in, I didn't see that. But now I'm sitting right next to you. I can see that you've got
like jaundice.
Yeah. So so that's one of the factors you see somebody who's got sickle cell.
Yeah, but
not everybody.
Not everybody. It's just me. Like for me, my eyes are kind of like a tell. So the whites of my eyes they tend to be yellow. They're never actually fully white anyway. But when I'm getting more sick, or if I'm getting a bit run down or whatever, my eyes go darker, like a darker shade of yellow.
Wow.
So then I know within myself, like sometimes I'll wake up and look in the mirror and be like, maybe I'm tired. Like I can tell. That's kind of like a little tell for me. But not everybody gets like jaundice like that. But since I've been older, it's a bit worse now because I've had problems with my liver and stuff like that, like over the years. So it's kind of like, it's gotten worse than it used to be. But yeah, it's one of the tells.
And so growing up with sickle cell, you've gone into primary school. You don't know too much about sickle cell. You've got into secondary school. When would you say you had your first episode that you was actually aware this was an actual episode? Not something that your mum and dad told you, something that you physically remember as having as the first episode that you can identify with.
I think it's not the first episode because, as I said, I used to go to hospital quite a lot. Like I can remember having to go to A&E, but I think the most significant one where I felt like, I don't mean to say but yeah, this is an actual serious condition. I had a stroke when I was 14, so I was in it was a summer holidays between year 9 and year 10. Yeah. I had a stroke. Didn't know what it was at the time.
So when you say you was having a stroke,
so basically,
we're aware that your face goes a bit.
My mum would have to. Yeah. I've actually interviewed my mum or whatever, so she's explained kind of that. But basically, I was having a crisis. I was explaining to her that I was feeling unwell, getting really hot, but I felt cold, like one of those ones. And she noticed that obviously it affected my left side. So my left side was, not whatever.
Functioning.
Took me to A&E. I don't remember a lot of it. I just remember not feeling well and then waking up in the hospital, not being able to move, going to sleep, waking up again. It was, it happened over a period of days I was there. And after that, they explained, you had what was called, they call it a sickle stroke. Basically, right. People that have sickle cell, they're more prone to getting strokes. So I had basically a stroke. It affected the left side of my body, so I had no movement temporarily. I regained it, but if you look closely, my left side is kind of like a little bit. It's a bit droopy.
Than the other side.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you show the viewers a bit?
I don't like my eye. Everything's just a bit lean.
Than the other side. Okay.
But yeah, it's alright. I work with it. So yeah, and then after that, they were like, you could get another one. I had to start monthly blood transfusions. So every 4 weeks I had to have blood transfusions to stop me from having another one. And then I had to go on. So it was just like a whole load of things that came from it. That was when I really realised that, okay, like I have this thing, I can't. Because when I was in school, I used to kind of act like nothing was wrong with me.
Okay.
Because it was just easier than to have to explain what was going on. But I think after that happened, I kind of had to, do a bit more research, learn a bit more, understand what it was and why and all of that kind of stuff.
Alright. So, just for the ones that have just tuned in, we're just talking with Jenica about her journey with sickle cell, how she had an episode and it led into a sickle stroke. She still has a little bit of damage left, a little bit on her left side, but not too much. It's not evident. And we were just talking about the eyes, because most people associate people who have got sickle cell with the yellow eyes and so forth. She was just explaining that. We're just currently going through transition with her being as a teenager. There's a few questions I thought about today, and to myself, I was just thinking to myself, Abigail, don't get emotional, because I feel like, even though I know people that have got sickle cell, But then I don't know anyone so close to me, like, to say that I've actually gone to visit them in the hospital. I can't tell you that. If I tell you that, I'm absolutely lying. But I just want to understand it from your view. I want to see and try and see this time and see how it is to live with sickle cell, because I don't have no illnesses or anything by the grace of God. But at the same time, I want to see your perspective. You're 28, so we're around the same age. And today, one of the things I was thinking of asking you, which I will ask, is when you get into relationships, is there a difficulty in, because the thing is, the reason why I'm asking that is because, you know, the reason why I remember sickle cell so much is that because when I was going through marriage school, we had to do the sexual health test, the sexual health test, the sickle cell test, and it didn't hit me. Like, I was thinking, why am I doing a sickle cell test? But then when it came back negative and everything, I was just like, oh, and then I did a little bit of research and I just put it to the side. But I want to know, as a young woman, are you single?
I am.
You are single, okay. Do you find it difficult to explain to a young gentleman that you have sickle cell, and do you, when you are in a relationship, do you tell them how you have your episodes? Do you keep quiet about it? Were you ashamed at first and you kept it for yourself for a bit, or did you decide, you know what, I'm gonna be open with it? But when you think about things long term, like marriage and kids and so forth, and it's the thing of maybe falling in love with somebody in case they have the trait like your mum and dad. Obviously, I know you probably, at that time, maybe your parents didn't even have that much awareness those days. Not as much. So how is it now? You're 28, at that prime age where you can get into relationships, babies, marriage. How do you find this journey?
It's so weird because I feel like my past relationship that I've been in, like my first relationship that I was in, we were friends first, and I think it was at the end of college. So throughout college, I was sick quite a lot. So most of the people around me knew that I had sickle cell, and like where my college was literally next to the hospital. So everyone used to just come and visit me on lunch break. Like, it was just like a fun thing to do. Like, oh, Jen's in hospital, let's go see her. So everybody knew that I had sickle cell. Everybody knew that, you know, sometimes I get sick. So the person that I actually initially started going out with already knew that I had sickle cell. And actually their auntie, and also they had family members that had sickle cell as well. So luckily for me, there hasn't really been much explaining that I've had to do in that like sense. Although when I did get into my first relationship, I also went through like a really I had like a really serious sickle cell crisis. It's called acute chest syndrome. It was in 2006. I basically nearly died. So the doctors gave my mum and dad like a 50-50 chance that I was gonna survive. And I can remember I was kind of, you know, in and out of consciousness, and I can remember my partner was there, my mum and dad were there, and they were having this exchange of words as if to say, you know, if you're not built for this, like, you can go, it's okay. And I could hear, but I couldn't talk. But, you know, my parents were having that conversation with this guy who had only recently, like, started, you know, seriously dating or whatever. But he decided, you know, I'm going to stick by her or whatever. We had conversations and stuff. Sadly, well, not sadly, I don't know, whatever. It turns out after 7 years, we broke up, basically because of my sickle cell.
You broke up because of your sickle cell?
He actually decided that it was something that he thought he wouldn't be able to deal with going forward.
After 6-7 years?
Yeah, I know you're...
So instead of him deciding from the beginning, then he's got into the relationship now. Then 6-7 years, he now says he doesn't want to be part of it.
It was too much. I know.
Oh, sorry, I forgot we are live.
I feel like we're just having a conversation.
You know, I forgot we are live. Anyone that knows me, you know, I just break into these little...
Yeah. At the time, I was okay with it. Like, for me, it was a thing where, do you know what, this is my thing that I have to live with. It's not something that you have to live with. It's just a decision for you. For me, it's a part of my blood. It is what it is. So I was okay with it. We remained friends or whatever. I think afterwards, I had my days where I thought, it's a bit rubbish. But yeah, it's a bit rubbish. But yeah, so that was that. And then I think a lot of the people that I've been with now know that I have sickle cell because of what I do. So because I do a lot of advocating,
do you think it makes it a bit more easier?
Yeah, it kind of makes it easier for me now, because if I meet someone and they say, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'll just like send them a link to my blog post or something. And then, so it's kind of like a way in. But I was having a conversation with someone yesterday and I was thinking, you know what? Sometimes I still do feel like it's a little bit hard to talk about. I'm a very open person. So going into something, I'll be like, yeah, I've got sickle cell and yeah, it affects me this way. I've had these operations and, I don't want to be like, first day, oh, do you have sickle cell? Like, you should go and get checked out. But I try and be very open with it. But as well, I think sometimes I think I prejudge people. Just because of what I've been through, like with like past partners and whatever. Sometimes I just kind of feel like I'm too sick for you. Like, I know it's a bad thing to say.
Do you feel like you're building, because that sounds to me that you're building up a wall.
Yeah. And
I wouldn't ever class you with low self-esteem or that, never. But as ladies, sometimes, I'm not trying to compare the same, but it's like, when a lady's either put on too much weight or lost too much and we're just overthinking the situation, and there is somebody out there for everybody. But I feel like, just as you saying, it can be a bit of a downer at times, because explaining to somebody that you don't know when your next episode is can be a bit like I'm actually deep in this. I'm really deep in this, because to let somebody know that you are going into an episode. Sorry, I just feel like I'm gonna cry because I'm so emotional. Because it's kind of deep right now to explain to somebody that you are gonna go into an episode and you don't know what's gonna happen. Emotionally, it's not about them, it's about you. And at the end of the day, to see that, it's kind of... It's also hard for them. It's hard for them, but it's also hard for you, because at the end of the day, you have to put your own self aside as somebody who's dating you, and to also think about you. But then, is it too selfish to say that it's about me and not about us? It's like... But then if you're together with somebody, then that's what you've decided to do. You've decided to come together with somebody and you share that with the other person. I just try not to put pressure on it. So if I'm speaking to someone and then I get sick or in hospital, I won't expect a visit, or like if you do, great. To be fair, it depends as well, because you could have like just met someone and then you don't want that person to see you in that vulnerable state as well, because I'm a very sort of outgoing, confident, like bubbly person. It's only when sometimes I actually sit back and like, deep things to myself and I think, you know what, I do sometimes put up a wall, because it's a lot. It's kind of like you meet someone and they have to kind of make that marriage commitment of in sickness and in health before they've even decided whether they even want to marry you or not yet. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird. But what I am a strong believer is that you will find somebody who will take you for you regardless of what happens. Flaws and all. Flaws and don't see as a. Do you know what? God doesn't put you in a position or gives you something for no reason. And whatever anyone has got, whether it's sickle cell, whether it's like, I don't know, certain things that's happening with them, it's not by accident. Your breakthrough is your awareness, and you can be saving so many people's life and educating people like myself. So for me to sit here with you and say I am humbled by your presence because I'm learning, and I'm sure everybody else who's watching as well at home is also learning, it's a privilege. So I feel like, trust me, the right person will come and understand for himself, to the point that they would want to educate themselves because of the love they have for you. I'm telling you, it will happen. When it's your wedding day and I'm standing up, like, I told you.
I
told her, you know, I'll be what I told her. You know, I'll just be saying that, you know, and, you know, it will definitely happen. It's just one of the things I really needed to know.
Yeah.
Because it's not something that is out there, how people talk about sickle cell and relationships.
And I think everyone's different with relationships. I've had, like, someone who we've been friends with for years and years and years, and, you know, it's kind of whatever, but someone that I was really, you know, close with and whatever, and then they told me that they had sickle cell trait only recently, even though they've known that I've had sickle cell for this long time. And then sometimes it's not just sometimes you have to think past their partner. So I would know someone and they might be okay with it, but then their family, like in terms of parents or whatever, because obviously it's a big thing, you know, find somebody that you can settle down with that is going to be healthy and well and can
because two traits together
children.
Is, you know,
two traits can, well, 25% chance of having a child with sickle cell, like full-blown sickle cell, but because I have the full sickle cell, if I was to
go with someone who has a trait,
then there's a 50-50 chance that they will have the full-blown sickle cell that I have, or there's a 50-50 chance that they'll have the trait as well, be a carrier. So ideally for me, being with someone who has no sickle cell at all would be better, because then that means all of my children will be carriers and it wouldn't affect them, not the way it affects me, but then, yeah, I mean, I don't have them radar eyes to see people's blood, so you could end up falling in love with somebody that has a sickle cell trait, and then it's like, think positive, you might not get that 50% where you have a child.
As you said, you take into consideration families. You know, some families might not want that, and I've heard of some families separating two people that love each other dearly because of the trait and the full blown. And this also brings and comes into my next question. When sickle cell, what is the highest age they normally live up to? The doctors say.
I think now it's like 55 or something like that.
Oh.
I think if Googling it, because I Googled that question because someone asked me before, and I think it said like 55, but I know people that are well older than that.
Well, older than 55?
Yeah, I know. There's a lady that I see at the treatment centre that I go to. She is in her late 60s.
Wow.
She got any kids? Who I think, I've never asked her, you know. She's always there. She's kind of like a grandma, you know, humble. She's having a treatment. I'll just leave her. But I speak to her a few times. I haven't asked her if she's got children. I also know, you know, people that are older, like probably like late 50s, and they've got children. One lady I know, she didn't even know that she had sickle cell until she had her daughter, which wasn't until like her late 20s. So again, it's just that kind of awareness. And then, is it a thing sometimes? Because when I was speaking to her, I was thinking, okay, but if you wasn't told that you had sickle cell,
would you have known?
What was your life like? How would it be different now? Because I really do think as well that you get labelled with having this condition, and then the doctors are like, oh, you need to take this, you need to take that, and sometimes then things have side effects, and then they have side effects, and then you just end up with more problems than probably you needed to have. Because I think that that's happened to me as well before. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the age is. I live till 100 and then some.
Amen. Amen. You'll live to 100. Amen. No. So in terms of now you living by yourself, Because when I asked you, you live by yourself, you said no. My first worry, even though Jenica's not my child, but my first worry was just like, oh, you're living by yourself. God forbid anything happens now. Who's going to be there to call ambulance? Because these episodes seem to come anytime. So is your house built in a way where there's a panic button somewhere or something? Because, you know, just for safety and caution. When you told your mum you wanted to live by yourself, what was your mum's reaction?
Yeah, they were.
They weren't
I mean,
happy.
the compromise was stay in the same city.
Yeah.
So I didn't move to London like I really wanted to. But then, you know, same city, different house, man. I just wanted my own space. But do you know what? My parents they're really good because I think they know that I'm independent and they know that I want to kind of, you know, I want to go out and do my own thing. But I know that they don't like it. Ideally, they'd love to just sort of keep me at home and just to be there with them. And they had to just let me go. They phone me loads, or they'll just, I don't know, they just do what parents do. But I think it's been a learning curve for all of us because I've actually been, well, the time that I moved out, I was actually in a good place, like health-wise. I'd been through like a really bad patch. I had a couple of operations, recovered from that, and I was doing really well. So, like I was saying to you, my first crisis, I'd been living by myself for about over a year.
Okay.
Before I had my first crisis at home. So, it was not even so much having the crisis, it's coming home from hospital because I can't fully recover when I'm in hospital. Like, I think hospital's just there to get rid of the pain and, you know, all of the medical side of things.
You can't really get comfortable.
Yeah,
in a
I
way
need to be at home then probably for another week or 2 weeks. That's when I fully recover. That time is when, you know, my parents will be there in terms of bringing me food, making sure I'm eating properly and at the right time, still taking my tablets, because 9 times out of 10 I'm still knocked out from like painkillers.
So do you take tablets every day?
Yeah, so I take penicillin and folic acid every day. Folic acid. This is what
the ones that the pregnant women
take. Yeah,
you take that
every day.
Everyone
with sickle cell is supposed to take that every day. I wish
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be sitting here ignorant. I only thought for people who take folic acid had to be pregnant.
I didn't know. They're young.
I didn't actually know that people take it for anything else. So you take that. You take penicillin.
Well, yeah, I take. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I'm supposed to take folic acid and penicillin every day for the rest of my life. Like, that's just.
But what do you do?
I take folic acid. I don't take penicillin every day because penicillin, if you don't know, is an antibiotic. And when you take antibiotics for a long period of time, your body builds up some sort of immune system to it. So I don't see the point in that. If I feel that I'm getting sick, because we do have low immune systems, that's why they give us that to take every day. If I feel like I'm getting a cold or I might be coming down with something, then I will start to take my penicillin, and 9 times out of 10 it will kind of kick whatever's coming up and get rid of it before it gets any worse. Whereas before, when I was taking it every day, if I did feel myself getting sick, I'd then have to go to the doctors to get something stronger. And I was just like, well, what is the point in this? Not, you know, to go against any medical practitioners or whatever, but that is what I do and it works for me.
Okay.
And I don't want to give anybody else with sickle cell that might do that the advice to do that. It works for me. That's what I do. So
when Jenica came, she said something that kind of blew me away. I don't know if you're going to see how tall she is at the end, but she's very tall. She's like, green giant. She's really tall. Like, when she came, I was like, I'm like some any midget. Like, she's really tall. So when she sat down and she said something, and then she said to me, she's had a hip replacement. I thought, huh? Hip replacement at your age? So, first of all, let me know and everyone else know, how many operations, surgeries have you had since day 1 till now? If it's countable, if you can count.
Surgeries, I've had 4. 4. Would you count that one? No, that's not counted as a surgery. 3 surgeries. I've had a full hip replacement on my left hip.
And if you can explain to our viewers, has that got something to do with sickle cell?
Yes. So basically, with having sickle cell comes a whole list of complications that you can have if you have sickle cell, which I didn't know about until I was gradually, as I was growing up. Every time something went wrong, my doctor was like, oh yeah, it's a complication of sickle cell. Oh yeah, it's a complication. Like one time I had to say to her, can I see this list? Because I've literally had bar two things, everything on the list. So yeah. There's a complication that you can have called avascular necrosis, or it's abbreviated as AVN. Basically it affects the one that I've got is a vascular necrosis of my hips. So it affects my hip bone. So you've got like the ball and socket that's at the top of your hip. So basically this is your leg and then this is the top of your hip bone. Because of like the blood flow and the lack of hemoglobin because of the sickle cell, there's not enough blood flow getting to the top of my hip bone. So as a result of that, the bone dies and will eventually crumble. So
this bone
at the top, it will eventually collapse. If it doesn't get enough blood and oxygen, it will collapse. So what was happening to me was, obviously I had my blood wasn't flowing to the top of my bone. As a result of that, I was in a lot of pain, bone decaying, or I don't know however they describe it, but I basically had that symptom. So it's so painful.
So how did you know you needed a hip replacement? Did you just...
I kept complaining of like hip pains, just really bad. It started off in one hip, and then because I knew it was bad, I started to put a lot of the weight on my other hip. So then I kind of made that hip worse. Kept going back to the hospital, repetitively. The kind of annoying thing is when you have sickle cell, every time you have pain, they assume that it's a crisis, and it's not always a crisis. Sometimes it can be something more than that. So after repeatedly saying, these pain's not going away, having lots of scans, my MRI scan showed that, my bone was, decaying or whatever it is. And so eventually that is the treatment for it. You can have injections that they can numb the pain. It won't actually stop it from eventually collapsing. Having the operation was it was actually my decision, and it was kind of like a debate between me and my doctor as to whether I could have it because of my age. So at the time, I got diagnosed when I was 21, and I decided that I wanted to have the operation when I was 24, and I had the operation when I was 25. So they didn't want me to have it because of my age, and I think the lifespan of a hip operation, normally about 10 years, can be 15.
Wow.
It's usually something that older people have, so it's not really a problem because
because I associate hip replacements with older people.
Yeah, right.
I would not think a 28-year-old has a hip replacement.
I know.
That's not anything I would think of. But since you've had the hip replacement, how has it been for you? Have you been okay?
It's been life-changing. I went from... The reason that I really wanted to have the operation was just because I was in so much pain that I was basically taking morphine every day. Like, that was like food for me. I don't even know how I was fully functioning on morphine, but because of all the painkillers and everything I was taking to kind of stop from being in pain from my hip, I then ended up having problems with my liver, which can also be a problem with sickle cell, called hepatic sequestration or cholestasis.
Basically, all these names.
I know them as well. I don't know what they mean. You can Google them. But yeah, I ended up having a lot of problems. But for me, even though a lot of them can be a complication of sickle cell, I'm also like, it's a no-brainer when you're taking pain medication like morphine and dihydrocodeine and all of these things. Half of the side effects are problems with your liver and your, other organs. So I just thought, okay, if I have this operation, hopefully the pain will go, then I can get off that, and this will fix, and everything will sort itself out. And it did. So
it's kind of like the best decision you actually made now.
Yes, it was.
By having a hip replacement at that age. I absolutely salute you, because, that it's a lot. It sounds like a lot. Right. So Jenica writes children's book, and she brought me my own.
Yeah.
She brought me my own. I don't know if you lot can see it properly. Oh, the light. And it says, my friend Jen. She got me my own book, guys. This is for me. It's not for you. It's for me. Okay? It's for me. So, I'm so privileged to have this book. Like, I'm telling you, this is amazing.
Is that? Oh, okay. I think you know one that I tell you.
This is amazing. This is Sophie. She calls me Sophie, by the way. Just to let you know, she don't call me or him. She calls me Sophie. So I'm called Sister Sophie. So she calls me Sister Sophie, and it's been signed and everything. And this is a little book, and it's wow. We got a book that's got a little black girl in it. That's so sweet, and people of color and what sickle cell looks like. This book I would recommend for young kids. My godchildren will be getting one. So, yeah, when you're old enough to read Nathaniel Noah, you're going to get one. And, you know, my younger sibling, Stephanie, she will get one. And the rest, everyone's going to get a book, all right? Auntie Abby's going to buy you a book. I am not secluding everybody.
What about me?
Everyone's going to get a book, okay? You just say, Auntie Abigail, can I have a book? And I'll just get you one, all right? Not the adults, just the kids.
Well, in actual fact, I would say...
Oh, yeah,
if you're getting it, I say to adults, if you get it for your child, read it.
Yeah, read it.
Read it once.
Read the book.
It's really easy to read. It's a really short book. It's rhyming, so it's easy to remember, it's easy to read. And for a lot of, you know, like my older cousins that bought their books for like their kids, my nieces and nephews and stuff like that, even after I like published the book and stuff, they were like, I didn't know that was, they come and see me in hospital and everything. I didn't know that was what it was, and that's what you had to do. So for adults, if you read it once, it's kind of like one of those easy things to remember, and you kind of know what sickle cell is.
And that's her, Jen. That's her. That's her. She don't look like Lavender there though, but you know. And this, I feel so privileged. I've got someone who's an author. One day I want to write a book. Okay, guys. I want to write a book one day. I will be asking Jenica how she writes her book. But okay, this book, what was your inspiration behind this book? Where do you get your inspiration from? Now, I get my inspiration by praying about something I really need to do. Now, how do you get yours? What made you wake up one morning and say, I want to write a book? I know you want to do your sickle cell awareness, but what made you think, I'm going to put myself on the front line, I'm going to name my book and pretend to be a friend of me? Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
You're a friend of yourself. You are this book, and you are the friend of Jen, which is yourself. What made you write a book? And I'm going to let you know the success of this book in a minute. But, yeah, what made you get up and say, you know what, I'm going to write a book?
Do you know what? It was actually, first of all, it was never supposed to be a book. It didn't start off as a book. I've always said that I want to do something for, you know, sickle cell or to create awareness or whatever. And I'd kind of gone through a sort of process over a few years, like making the decision to have my operation. I completely sort of like took control of everything. So I thought, you know, the doctors have led me up to this point, and you know, it hasn't worked out for the best. So I'm just going to start making decisions for myself and change my diet, changed everything. And I was just doing really well. And one night, I think I was going on holiday or come back off holiday, something like that. And I just thought, oh my God, like, there's nothing that I can't do right now. Like, I'm just doing everything and I'm not getting sick. I'm not having a crisis or anything. I'm staying well. And that, like, there's nothing that I can't do. That's the sentence in the book. I just decided to write a poem. I've always written things, little poems or little rhyming things here and there, whatever. This is after I had started my blog as well. So I just started to write, and it started off as a short poem. You know, Jen's this, Jen's that, she can do all these things, there's nothing she can't do. And afterwards I thought, you know what, I could extend this into a book, and I just did it. But for me, I wanted it to be for children, because I feel like where I am now, like I said before, if I had something like this when I was growing up with sickle cell, I just feel like I would have been completely different.
I think if we all had this in primary school, we all would have. I probably would have been.
Even if I could have given it to my friends, to be like, you know, if they said, "Oh, what's sickle cell? How come you always get here? Just read the book." Like, I actually did it for that, because one of the reasons I used to like either act like I didn't have anything wrong with me or pretend that I didn't know was because I couldn't explain it. Like, you can imagine being like 5, 6, everyone's going outside to play, I have to stay inside. Why? Because I got sickle cell. What's that? For a 6-year-old, it's a I don't know. So here's the book. You can give it to your teachers, you can give it to your friends. It's not like a sad book, it's not in detail, it's easy to understand. And I just think, you know, since I've written the book, I'm not going to get emotional.
You can get emotional. This is a Him I Speak show.
There are like, I am going to get emotional because there was a message that I got today as well. The amount of young children that their parents contact me on social media, have written me emails, letters, just to say thank you, because my daughter has sickle cell and now that she's got this book, she's able to relate. There's one girl, her name is Zay. She's just amazing. She had sickle cell. She's been through so much. She lives in Birmingham as well. And
sorry, she's even making me cry.
Sorry,
I'm a cry. Every time someone cries, I cry. This is normal. It's fine.
Like, I've never. When I wrote the book, I just thought about my experience growing up. But now, it's like I have younger children that actually inspire me to do what I do and to continue to do what I do. She bought my book in for World Book Day and dressed up as my character for World Book Day. And brought it into her school, and since having the book, her friends are on her side, her teachers, you know, just things like that. I never wrote the book to receive that. I didn't ever expect that I was going to get that from the book. But like you said, through prayer or whatever, I just feel like at that time, I put it in the foreword in the book, it was just divine time. It was at that time that it was supposed to happen. And for whatever reason, it did. And I'm just so grateful that I've been able to actually change people's lives. And people have actually changed my life just from giving me feedback. And, you know, I feel like I have achieved the aim with that book. And that's the first one. The second one is...
Oh, wow! There's a second one, guys. I thought I cried. There's a second one. Wow! Sorry. Oh no! This is. Do you know what? If anyone knows our Him on Speak show, we are real. We don't hide emotions. This is real stuff, real life things we're talking about. Like, it's a journey for someone to talk about what they are going through day to day. And as I said, I commend you. What Jen has also done, she's gone the one step further that most people hasn't done. She decided to go to Nigeria. Bear in mind, this young lady is not from Nigeria, you know. She is of Jamaican descent. And she went to Nigeria and she wanted to see what country has sickle cell.
Yeah, like, I kind of done a bit of research.
Yeah, she's done a bit of research. And she decided to go to Nigeria, and is it an orphanage or school or hospital?
No, so there are sickle cell organisations, like we have the Sickle Cell Society in London and different ones in Birmingham. I wanted to see what organisations were out there, because obviously sickle cell, it affects predominantly black people, and, you know, originally different countries in Africa, you know, there's more people living with sickle cell there. So I wanted to I just thought, let me just see, like, what did they have? Because, you know, we're over here, and not against anything, you know, there's a lot of changes that need to be made in the UK, like, even in terms of awareness, in terms of you know, health services and stuff like that. But I'm thinking, you know, these countries don't even have the NHS. So what did they do? Like, we're fighting for over here. I just wanted to see. So I reached out to a couple of sickle cell organisations. I went to Gambia first, last year in November. There's a sickle cell society in Banjul, which is in Gambia. I reached out to them. they were happy, I decided to donate 100 books to them, go over there. We held an event, so they invited like schools, different schools, teachers. I went and spoke to like education ministers, health ministers, about how they can incorporate sickle cell into, you know, their education system and things like that. And then I went to Nigeria in June. I donated 200 books to their Sickle Cell Aid Foundation in Nigeria. And there's even between the two places I've been so far, so I've been to Gambia and I've been to Nigeria. In Gambia, there's still a huge stigma around sort of sickle cell, and they think that you can catch it. They don't understand a lot. Whereas Nigeria, they do understand, and they have their sickle cell society is amazing.
To be fair, Nigeria is a bit bigger than Gambia,
and it's completely
different. It's a bit more structured, more than Gambia in its own way. I know. I don't know too much about Gambia, so I'm not going to go into it. I'm not Nigerian, but I do have close friends from Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the predominant countries in Africa that are doing well.
They're doing amazing. Like, I met
when it comes to awareness anyway, they are very good in.
We got involved in their World Sickle Cell Day awareness activities. So they've done a walk. I think, how many miles was it? It was long, but it was hot, but they're just on it, and everyone comes together. They all work together. You know what I've seen in Nigeria, which I think we lack over here in the UK, is that all these different organisations are just trying to do their own thing. And I really think like there's power in numbers. Like it takes a village. And what they have in Nigeria, which I've seen and I just thought was amazing, even though they have, you know, different parts of Nigeria, there's different organisations, they all came together to do this one walk for World Sickle Cell Awareness Day. And they just work as a team. They've got like a blood foundation where they get people to donate blood and things like that. Like they're just working together, and I actually think, yeah, you know, we might have what we've got over here, but in terms of like societies and different sickle cell organisations pulling together to actually do things as a collective, there's a lot more that we can do over here.
No,
we're not even on that level. We're not, and it was eye-opening to see that actually.
Jen's definitely be going round. Maybe we might do a collaboration in Ghana one day. Yes. So I might take Jen myself to Ghana. We'll talk about that later. That's just an exclusive. I've even told her that, but we will talk more about that, God willing, because I really want to be part of the sickle cell awareness, because it's really touched my heart. I'm not gonna lie. For me to cry on me, I cry all the time.
To make you cry.
You lot know I cry all the time. I watch ABN African movies and I'm always crying. But for me to cry on live, I never actually thought so. You know, it's something that's very deep to me, and I will support Jen 110%. Anytime she needs me, God give me the grace, and I will be there holding her hand. She's a friend for life now. She can't get rid of me.
I don't
can't get rid of me. She can't get rid of me now. So wherever Jen is, even if it's in hospital, I'm going to be standing there. God give me the grace. I'm like, what? Excuse me. I'm going. But you know, she's, and it's so remarkable. We're the same age. I thought she was young. I thought she was some small picking. Girl, my little sister. These times the same age, you know. But she's written this book, and there's a second one. It's called My Friend Jen. How much is this?
So it's $5.99.
$5.99, guys.
Cheaper than
Nando's.
If you eat Nando's.
Yeah, it's cheaper than sometimes even cheaper than chips these days. Can you see how much they're charging for chips?
It's cheaper than McDonald's. Is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is $5. Where can they buy this?
You can buy it on Amazon.
Amazon, guys.
Yes. Or you can buy it from the My Friend Jen website, which is...
Or My Friend Jen website. So
My Friend Jen, go on.
www.myfriendjen.co.uk. You lot message me, email me. Jen stuff, you can shout out your Instagram.
Shout my... Wait, what?
Your Instagram.
Yeah, so we've got the web. Actually, check out the website, because on the website I do put up like all the different stuff that we've done. So I put I kind of done a little vlog of when I was in Gambia, and the Nigerian one will be posted soon as well, learning how to edit. So you can just keep up to date with what's going on in the new release of the book. So that's myfriendjen.co.uk, and then Instagram is myfriendjenbooks. And Facebook is My Friend Jen Books. Basically, everything on social media is
My Friend Jen Books.
Yeah.
So if you want to get in contact and stuff, just let us know. It's coming up to an hour now, so we are gonna close down very soon. But it's been a pleasure. I feel so humbled and honoured. I keep saying that again and again, but it's been amazing. I've had an amazing time, and I'm sure you lot watching, you've had an amazing time. And
I hope you've learned something.
Yes, I hope you've learned something. And anything you haven't learned, don't worry, this month is Sickle Cell Awareness Month. Yes. There'll be more people coming up here. I don't know if we'll be doing live, but there will be more people coming up and telling their stories and what they think from different perspectives, from different backgrounds. Please purchase the book. It's $5.99. If you lot want it for Christmas, just let me know. Slow down though, not everybody. All right. When I'm a millionaire, I'll let you know. But yeah, $5.99, guys. Come on, let's support a sister. At the end of the day, we need to support our own people. Do you get what I'm saying? Let's not just always support other people. Let's support our own, and we can celebrate and support each other. It's $5.99, guys. How much is Gucci perfume? Like, come on, this is something that's gonna be going down in records. Do you get what I'm saying? She's even donating to people abroad. Like, do you get me? Just support the thing, innit? Support. But it was an honour for you to be here. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a privilege. And I'm sure everybody's loved you. I've been seeing some comments flying through. So yeah, I know this is live, but we gotta do Killing with the Shoulders. So
I don't know what this is.
And so people, don't forget to subscribe and stuff, and subscribe.
Just do what you do.
Yeah, subscribe. Later.
Bye.